Separation. The act or process of separating. The state of being separated. A point, line, or means of division. An intervening space, gap. Cessation of cohabitation between a married couple by mutual agreement or judicial decree. Termination of a contractual relationship / the ending of a relationship that is bound by a contract. The process of isolating or extracting from or of becoming isolated from a mixture, also, the resulting state. Dislocation. Synonyms of separation are bifurcation, breakup, cleavage, dissolution, disunion, division, fractionalization, fractionation, partition, schism, scission, split, sundering. The word separation comes from the Latin word separatio. Separatio is a noun of action from the past participle stem of separare, which means to pull apart. Separare is made up of the Latin prefix se meaning apart and parar meaning make ready, prepare. The word separation has been attested since the 15th century. It can be defined as a severing, detaching, cutting apart, act of removing or disconnecting one thing from another. The act of separation or dissolution has far-reaching consequences that affect all of the time. The truth, unyielding and unforgiving, separates what is real from what is fake. It may be uncomfortable, but it is necessary to share, hear, and accept the truth. This is how we distinguish what is genuine from what is fake. We must preserve this legacy of honesty, even if it causes controversy. Although it may feel burdensome, we have a responsibility to carry this weight to avoid living in a world without authenticity. Exploring the limits of church and state, The Case of the Holy See is an engaging and insightful video that aims to examine the intricate relationship between religious institutions and governmental authorities, leaving you to question if the lines are blurred between religious authority and political power. By focusing on the specific case of the Holy See, this video seeks to shed light on the historical, legal, and ethical boundaries that define the interactions between the Church and the state. Through this exploration, viewers will gain a deeper understanding of the complexities and implications of this timeless dynamic, offering valuable insights into how it continues to influence societies and governance around the world. The Holy See is the central government of the Catholic Church. It's located in Rome, Italy, and is a landlocked enclave in southern Europe. The term Holy See comes from the Latin phrase Sancta Sedes, which means holy chair. The Holy See is the episcopal jurisdiction of the Catholic Church and includes the Vatican and the entire Catholic Church. The Pope is the chief of state, and the Secretary of State is the head of government. The Pope has supreme legislative, executive, and judicial power, and can send and receive diplomatic representatives. The Holy See is recognized under international law and has formal diplomatic relations with 172 nations, including the United States. The Holy See operates from Vatican City State, which is a sovereign, independent territory. Vatican City is the smallest country in the world, covering just over 100 acres. Visitors to Holy See territory are required to show reverence and respect toward the Roman Catholic Church. The Holy See is the government of the Catholic Church, while the Vatican is the city-state where the Pope resides. The Holy See is also known as the Vatican, especially when referring to the Catholic Church hierarchy. The Holy See is a sovereign entity, but it's not a geographic region or country. The Vatican, however, is a city-state, which means it's a distinct geographical entity. The Vatican is the world's smallest country by size and population, and the Pope is its head of state. The Holy See's authority extends over Catholics worldwide. The term see means the seat or office of a bishop. The Holy See refers to the Vatican because it's the territory where the Pope resides. The Holy See has authority over issues of faith and morality for the world's 1.3 billion Catholics. The Holy See also has a legal personality that allows it to enter into treaties and send and receive diplomatic representatives. The Holy See's authority includes faith and morals. The Holy See makes decisions on issues of faith and morality for Catholics worldwide. Church discipline and government. The Pope, as Bishop of Rome, has full and supreme power of jurisdiction over the universal Church in matters of faith and morals, as well as in church discipline and government. Extraterritorial authority. The Holy See has extraterritorial authority over various sites in Rome and 2 Italian sites outside of Rome, including the Pontifical Palace at Castel Gandolfo. The Holy See rules through the Roman Curia and the Papal Civil Service. The Roman Curia consists of the Secretariat of State, 9 congregations, 3 tribunals, 11 pontifical councils, and a complex of offices that administer church affairs at the highest level. As of July 2023, 183 states, the European Union, and the Sovereign Military Order of Malta have diplomatic relations with the Holy See. The United States formally recognized the Holy See in 1984. The Holy See has permanent observer status with the United Nations, which means it has the right to participate in general debates and intervene in discussions on the Assembly's agenda. However, the Holy See does not have relations with 15 internationally recognized states. The Holy See is the central government of the Roman Catholic Church. The Pope has supreme legislative, executive, and judicial power. The Holy See also has a global impact, and its influence is real. Some of the Holy See's powers and influences are: political power. The Holy See has extraordinary abilities that allow it to influence world politics. It is a permanent observer state at the United Nations, and it has a seat at the UN General Assembly. The Pope and Roman Curia regularly meet with heads of states. Moral and political influence. The Holy See can influence the moral and political behavior of its faithful. It makes decisions on issues of faith and morality for Catholics throughout the world, a population of about 1.3 billion. International agreements. The Holy See is recognized under international law and enters into international agreements. It has formal diplomatic relations with 172 nations, including the United States. The Holy See as the central government of the Roman Catholic Church uses its diplomats as a force of moral persuasion, also known as soft power, to increase their power. The Holy See is most effective when it uses its platform to denounce actions that undermine human dignity, inhibit freedom, and oppress people. Some other ways Vatican diplomats increase their power are: training. Vatican diplomats are trained at the Ecclesiastical Academy, an ancient college for diplomats. The training teaches candidates to be priests first and diplomats second. This instills in them a sense of serving the world as a whole, not just the interests of the Vatican. Diplomacy. The Holy See abstains from taking sides among states in conflict. The Holy See's foreign diplomats have diplomatic immunity, which can only be revoked by the Holy See. The Vatican Diplomatic Corps is made up of all diplomats accredited to the Holy See. This does not include diplomats who represent the Holy See's interests to other countries and international bodies. Since 1961, Vatican diplomats have had diplomatic immunity. The Holy See receives ambassadors from 87 nations and sends diplomatic missions worldwide through the Vatican Diplomatic Corps. The Holy See has full diplomatic relations with 180 countries. Some types of Vatican diplomats include nuncios. These are ecclesiastical diplomats who serve as permanent diplomatic representatives of the Holy See to an international organization or state. They also promote good relations between the government and the Holy See. Residential apostolic delegates. These delegates are for Jerusalem and Palestine. Non-residential delegates. These delegates are for 4 countries: Brunei, Laos, Mauritania, and Somalia. They are also for the territories and countries without diplomatic relations with the Holy See in 3 regions. In 2019, Pope Francis instituted a missionary year as part of the training of Vatican diplomats at the Pontifical Ecclesiastical Academy. A papal nuncio's job is to represent the Pope in a foreign country. They are accredited as an ambassador to a civil government that has official diplomatic relations with the Holy See. Here are some of their responsibilities. Establish relationships. Nuncios establish and maintain relationships of mutual understanding between the Church and state. Promote good relations. Nuncios promote good relations between the government and the Holy See. Enable communication. Nuncios enable communication between the Holy See and the government of the country in which they are stationed. Observe conditions. Nuncios observe and report to the Pope on the conditions of the Roman Catholic Church in the region. Grant precedence. Nuncios granted precedence over even cardinals present if they were present in a diocese or at an event acting as the personal representative of the Pope. Nuncios are almost always of the rank of bishop or archbishop. A legate is a person who is the official representative of another person, especially the Pope's official representative in a particular country. A nuncio is a papal legate of the highest rank permanently accredited to a civil government. A nuncio's office is specifically defined and limited to a definite district, his nunciature, wherein he must reside. His mission is general, embracing all the interests of the Holy See. Vatican diplomats have been granted diplomatic immunity since 1961. The term Vatican Diplomatic Corps refers to all diplomats accredited to the Holy See, not those who represent its interests to other nations and international bodies. No country can grant diplomatic immunity to its diplomats. In 2019, the Vatican lifted diplomatic immunity for its envoy to France, Archbishop Luigi Ventura, after he was accused of groping. A nuncio is a Vatican representative who is accredited as an ambassador to a civil government. They maintain official diplomatic relations with the Holy See and promote good relations between the government and the Holy See. They also observe and report to the Pope on the conditions of the Roman Catholic Church in the region. The U.S. ambassador to the Holy See is the official representative of the U.S. to the Holy See, the leadership of the Catholic Church. The ambassador's main task is to act as a liaison between the Holy See and the U.S. government. The U.S. ambassador's mission works with the Holy See on global issues, including democracy, peace, and security, trafficking in people, interreligious dialogue, development and foreign aid, human rights, poverty eradication and development, environmental protection, interreligious understanding. Now let's review the definition and usages of the word separation. And then we'll examine all of this through a lens of separation of church and state. Separation is defined as the action or state of moving or being moved apart. The state in which a couple remain married but live apart. The division of something into constituent or distinct elements. The process of sorting and then extracting or removing a specified substance for use or rejection. The process of distinguishing between two or more things. Distinction or difference between the signals carried by the two channels of a stereophonic system. Short for color separation. In physics and aeronautics it is the generation of a turbulent boundary layer between the surface of a body and a moving fluid, or between two fluids moving at different speeds. The separation of church and state is a concept that ensures government institutions don't favor any particular religion. It's a way to protect religious freedom for all citizens. The separation of church and state also promotes religious pluralism and allows Americans to practice their beliefs in public and private. The separation of church and state is often interpreted as required by the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. The concept can be traced back to the early colonial period, with Roger Williams founding Rhode Island in 1636 on the premise that people of all religions were welcome. In the 1840s, nativists became leading advocates for the separation of church and state because they were suspicious of the power and dogma of the Catholic Church. The U.S. and the Holy See established diplomatic relations in 1984 through Pope St. John Paul II and U.S. President Ronald Reagan. The U.S. ambassador's residence is Villa Taverna in Rome, Italy, which was commissioned in the 15th century. The concept of separation of church and state in the U.S. is rooted in the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which states, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof." This has largely been interpreted to mean that the government of the United States cannot promote or favor any one religion over another, nor can it inhibit the free exercise of any religion. In this context, the Holy See, which is the ecclesiastical jurisdiction of the Catholic Church in Rome, which the U.S. maintains formal diplomatic relations with. They claim these relations as a function of international diplomacy rather than the granting of religious authority. It is said that relations between the U.S. and the Holy See primarily deal with international issues of mutual concern, such as human rights, peace, and humanitarian aid, among others. And that while some politicians and citizens in the U.S. may personally align with the teachings of the Catholic Church, or any other religious group, in their official capacities they are bound by the U.S. Constitution to separate personal religious beliefs from policy-making and governance. In other words, the claim is made that the obligation to uphold the principle of separation of church and state in their official actions and decisions results in denouncing authority of the Holy See so that the relationship does not undermine the key constitutional principles which guide U.S. governance. Some critics argue that the principle of separation of church and state isn't being upheld strictly in the U.S., suggesting that religious beliefs often influence political decision-making. They point towards issues such as abortion, same-sex marriage, and school prayers, among others, where religious beliefs have directly affected policy decisions and debates. Further, the fact that the U.S. maintains diplomatic relations with the Holy See, which is not a typical nation-state, but a religious entity, could be viewed by some critics as an acknowledgement of a religious authority, which might be seen as contradictory to the principle of separation of church and state. In recent years, there have been cases where religious values have affected the laws and policies in certain states. Critics argue that such influences blur the lines between church and state, raising concerns about the extent of influence that religious institutions, and not just the Holy See, but religious organizations more generally, have on government policy. Stop and think. Could the complexity and variety of these arguments, along with influence from personal beliefs, political stances, and interpretations of the concept of separation of church and state, contribute to the diverse viewpoints that people hold on this issue? Use this question as a way to process information that you hear and see. Here's an article that you can read and critique based on the question I just posed and in light of all the information I shared throughout this video. Embarking on a journey with truth is a transformative experience, a quest that unveils the mysteries of our existence and dismantles the deceptions that surround us. In the sacred text of Psalm 83, there lies a profound verse that speaks of those who intricately plot against us, weaving a web of cunning counsel and forming alliances in secrecy. As we delve into the depths of this psalm, we are compelled to unravel the enigma, to unearth the identities of these clandestine adversaries. With an unwavering commitment to truth, we shall demystify the ancient words, shedding light on those who conspire against us and forging a path toward understanding and resilience. This is a voyage that beckons the courageous, calling forth those who seek the truth, forge their destiny, and navigate the complexities of our shared human story. Step into the realm of unveiling, where truth reigns supreme, and together, let us unravel the secrets of Psalm 83. This truth should help you understand all of the ways wicked codification has us entangled so that we can move into action by detangling ourselves and separating. Come out of her, my people, and study to show yourselves approved.
Psalm 83, a psalm of Asaph.
Do not keep silent, O God. Do not hold your peace, and do not be still, O God. For behold, your enemies make a tumult, and those who hate you have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people, and consulted together against your sheltered ones. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be remembered no more." For they have consulted together with one consent. They form a confederacy against you. The tents of Edom and the Ishmaelites, Moab and the Hagrites, Gebal, Ammon and Amalek, Philistia with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assyria also has joined with them. They have helped the children of Lot. Deal with them as with Midian, as with Sisera, as with Jabin at the brook Kishon, who perished at Endor. who became as refuse on the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeeb, yes, all their princes like Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, let us take for ourselves the pastures of God for a possession. Oh my God, make them like the whirling dust, like the chaff before the wind. As the fire burns the woods, and as the flame sets the mountains on fire, so pursue them with your tempest, and frighten them with your storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek your name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and dismayed forever. Yes, let them be put to shame and perish, that they may know that you, whose name alone is the Lord, are the Most High over all the earth.